The only time I've ever done anything like that was like, it's just a business side of it. Like that guy's not worth. I mean, that's not enough to pay for the fight between me and him.
Right.
Like it's not. And actually, both times that happened, I actually wound up because the guy said I was running from him. I said I want him to go. Okay, no problem. We'll fight. Winner take all. I want your show money.
Yeah, you'd be able to
more
hear yourself better, so I'll get you that plugged in right in the middle of there. I'll let you do it. I don't want to do anything to make you upset and want to hit me or anything.
I'd pay to see that.
I know. Everybody says that. They're like, you're interviewing Chuck Liddell. Let him knock you out. I'm like, no. Like, why the f*** would I do that?
Have you seen him knock other people out in the octagon? I fucking have.
Any clips with him? Like, no.
Hey, wait, Chuck, can I ask something? Because I've done a couple of charity events with Randy Couture.
Yeah.
Can we do a fist out real quick?
Oh, gosh. Let me try.
You guys have the largest fist that I've seen. It's like, these hands? Nah, not so much. It's not a fighter's hand.
You got
not
little,
a fighter's
little
hand.
dainty hands.
I do. That's why I hold the microphone and ring announce. I even got a tie for you, Chuck.
Nice.
Yeah,
you look great.
5150 LTM tie. You know, we got to plug the sponsor. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. This is cool as shit.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, been a big fan for a long time, and so it's cool to have you come down, join us for our MMA event tonight. I got to kind of know about Little Chuck, because it's always interests me how someone ends up doing what they're doing.
I just picture you beating everybody up as a kid.
I pictured the opposite.
I fought a lot actually growing up.
Did you?
I remember, I think in my book I wrote about a fight we got into, and these guys were bragging, I'm 18-0 in the street, I'm 23-0 in the street. I'm thinking, was that the last month?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Is that something supposed to scare me? Like,
yeah, right.
That's funny. Yeah. That's all the fights you've had? Like, what are you, 22? Like, really? But yeah, no, I grew up, like, I always tell the story, like, when I was a kid, I was getting beat up at school, and they were taking my lunch money. Really, it's kind of funny. They were taking my lunch money, and kids were, like, picking on me because my mom told me I wasn't allowed to hit people. I wasn't allowed to fight.
Oh.
And so I wouldn't fight. And actually, the nice thing about principals back then is the principal actually called my mom to school and said, because he asked me, why don't you defend yourself? You know, like, and I told him, and he brought her in and he told her, he's like, hey, I like what you're doing with the nonviolence thing, but if you don't let your kid defend himself, I can't watch him every minute.
Sure,
he's getting beat up a lot. And so she got it, which is kind of nice having a principal actually come down.
Yeah,
you got to defend himself. But sometimes you got at some point you just have to, because people bullies pick on people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they pick on people. They go after people that aren't going to fight back, right? I mean, and so she told me, she came to me and said, okay, you can't start a fight, but you can finish it.
Okay.
And started fighting, and became pretty good at it.
And now we have Chuck Liddell,
UFC Hall of Famer.
Yeah, dude.
So, but then I got into, so I was now going to defend myself. I was fighting, and people don't pick on me anymore. And then I started. But I think I grew a big thing for I love fighting, and I hated people picking on people.
Yeah.
So it made for a lot of opportunities to fight.
Yeah.
Hey, you got people come up, hey man, he don't want to fight you, bro. But I do. And they go, I got a problem with you, man. Yeah, you kind of do now.
I can't imagine.
I kind of figured it out right about 21, 22. I'm like, I always said I'd never start a fight.
Yeah.
But I never let you out of it too easy either.
Right.
and about 21, 22, I kind of figured, like, hey, I can still break it up, get in there, stop this guy from doing that, and give him some outs.
Right.
Give me an easy way to kind of back away and just let it go.
Sure.
So, because it just wasn't worth it. One, most of those guys weren't much of a challenge. Right. and two, those are the guys that they start something, they hit you, or they throw a punch at you, and then you drop them, and they call the cops.
Right.
It happened. I don't know how many times I've seen that. I'm like, I remember one time I'm behind the bar. We're out there. Some guy, I'm watching this big dude getting chased by this little guy. I'm going, what the hell's going on? Yeah. The guy's going, yelling at him. He's like, leave me alone. He kept trying to walk away. Finally, the little guy hits him in the back of the head. He turned around and goes, just out. He wakes up, goes and gets the cops, and is trying to look for the other guy. I'm like, I told the cops, come here. He's like, let me explain what happened. They're like, oh, okay, we'll let it go. We'll just say forgot about it. But it was like, that's why I stopped doing that. You know?
Right.
So you mentioned your mom. So was Dad present?
No, my dad left when I was 3.
Oh, okay.
Didn't hear from him until I was 28.
Yeah.
Felt like there was like aggression towards that too in your fighting with that, or
I never thought there was, but I never really. I don't know. Maybe because I thought about it later, like because when I was 28, I was on TV fighting,
right.
And he sent his 2 kids out to meet me. They want to talk to me. I hadn't heard from him, talk to him, and my mom. I don't want to see him. My mom said, "Come on, come down there, come see him. Your brother and sister, or whatever." I'm like, okay. So I came down to have lunch with them, and then they, hey, can we talk to you outside alone? I'm like, sure. And then like, hey, your dad wants to meet you. I'm like, I'm okay. I mean, I got no interest in meeting him. So nice to meet you guys, but no thanks.
Sure.
And they but we haven't heard your dad's side of the story. I go, okay, wait a minute. Time out. My dad's side of the story.
Right.
You mean he left. He said left 25 years ago, and we have the same number and the same phone number and same address. As my grandpa said, the same phone number and same address. He knew where to find me.
Right.
So you can tell him he's 25 years too late. And I was like, his side, so he didn't get a side of the story. My mom raised me. She worked 3 jobs so I could play football. Right. Or whatever else I need to do. She'd always, if I need to do something, she'd find some way to make it happen.
Sure. Yeah.
To me it was like and I had no interest. I mean, I don't understand why people. He chose not to be around. He knows not to be involved.
He knew where to find you.
From what I understand, he was a very abusive, very bad guy, and I got my grandfather instead as a father. So I wish I had the chance to thank him.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
No, it's always an interesting scenario. I know that I've seen with people that I've known, or even family members, where a parent, be it mother or father, is kind of left, and some of those they kind of find like you, like, hey, thanks, you did me a favor.
Well, yeah, hearing. I mean, I never met him. I wasn't there, but hearing what the stories about it, it always a memory sticks out when I was a kid. Was my grandfather who was doing a smiley? Hell, I would laugh if you came over to my house and I wasn't there. I'd be like, oh, he's not here, but you want something to eat? I'd make you food. Like, he was a great guy. Like, always, he went to all my practices and went to all my games. But like, I remember one time when I was a kid, when I was really little, he, I was maybe 9 or 10. He comes in, comes in, just storms in, went this guy his billy club and his gun. And he's I saw that. And he's that I'm going, and I walked out, stormed out, and was gone all day. I was like, damn. What I found out later was he thought he saw my dad.
Oh, shit.
So I guess my mom hadn't told him about the abuse until after he left.
Right.
So like maybe there was a reason why he didn't come back.
Sure.
But my grandpa nicest guy in the world, but everything's black and white to him.
Yeah,
there's a right and a wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a right and there's a wrong. Period.
Yeah. There was definitely a generation prior to us. There was no gray area for shit whatsoever.
My grandpa was great, man. I remember one time. Random stories, okay.
Let's go for it.
That's what we're here for.
My grandpa, I'm 15 years old walking to karate. I was walking by the baseball field, and he was helping volunteer. And the guy that was running the league was about almost 75, something like that. And my grandpa was 60, in his late 60s. And I come up and there was a little commotion, right? So I'm watching what's going on. What happened was there's 2 kids that had 2 Mexican kids that had like people were saying they had wrong birth certificates or whatever.
Sure.
They're cheating because they're too big for the league. It's an 8, 9. It's baseball. It's 8, 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
Who cares? My grandpa wasn't necessarily upset with that about it, but all these parents were yelling at the old man and circling this old guy and yelling at him.
Yeah.
And my grandpa got pissed off, grabs a bat, walks over, and I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm gonna fight with Pops. Like, he starts poking guys in the chest with a bat. Like, hey, back off. Like, all these parents, nothing happened. I kind of bummed out about that. But he was just started poking, hey, go back off, show some respect. Guy volunteering here. Like, leave him alone, it's not his fault.
Yeah. The families are like, that kid can be 9, he's got a mustache. It's like, come on.
Sweetest guy in the world, but don't cross him. Don't cross him.
Oh, yeah.
So when do we really fast forward to the point where you start to take an interest in actually competing in fighting? At what point in your life? Because I know there's football throughout high school, right? High school,
I went to Cal Poly to do wrestle and play football.
Okay.
I could do both. Mm-hmm. That was one of my choices for Cal Poly. I wanted to do both. I only did football for 1 year, but then I did wrestle for 5. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it really happened. I started doing karate when I was a kid. I really loved it. I look back and I always look at it and I go, I was one of the things I loved doing it. I did it all the time. I love learning. I love getting better at it. Yeah. And that takes time and showing up. And I'd go to wrestling practice and then show up at karate. Mm-hmm. Go to football practice, go show up at karate. I do my homework during lunch and nutrition and in other classes just so I could have it done when I got home so I could go to karate.
Sure, yeah.
So I didn't have anything to do. And I just love doing it. And it was one of those things, like I was watching this show about like a kid like does the piano, like an 8-year-old kid, and they were asking a question about he's really good and all that. So how many hours a day do you practice? And he goes, what do you mean? Like how many hours a day? Like I don't know. I just play. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you look back at that, like I look back at that was what I did with martial arts. I went to it wasn't work for me. Mm-hmm. I used to go live at the gym. I'd sit there during the summer and wait for guys to show up to spar. Yeah. Because we were at a gym, you could come in any time. And I just sit there. Hey, when you warm up, you want to spar? Yeah. Sure. Okay.
I think that's an important thing, especially for parts of our audience that listen concerning our talks on mental health or addiction. And a big component for me was redeveloping passions. Like, it sounds silly, but I build a lot of Star Wars Legos because it's shit I did as a kid and I love to do, and I think passion is so important to have at any point in your life, as well as that desire to learn in that pursuit.
Right. And that was, because I figured out when I was young with martial arts, the way it was to me, it was taught like, if you work harder, you can be better than someone else, and if you work harder, you can learn more. Mm-hmm. Right. And I realized early in doing it that I always thought when I came in, you really going to teach me some magic. I was watching these demonstrations, all this stuff. Sure. I was thinking someone's going to teach me some magic moves. I would be the baddest guy on the planet. Yeah. And then I learned pretty quick that it was more hard work, but I also learned hard work. I can pass people. I can get better than people that are better than me. Yeah. And so it made me more interested in learning more. It made me want to work harder. And right. Then, okay, if I keep going, I can beat people. Yeah. So I get better and better. But just that wanting to learn new things. And I love martial arts. I still do.
Yeah. So do you still do any sort of active training? I know that you're training, other fighters with MMA, and you're still active in the community. But as far as you on a personal daily basis? On
a personal daily basis, actually, I just picked up. I started with my daughter and my son doing a little bit of stick stuff, like the screen with. It's been fun, I just started. Well, see, I never really used weapons much, as I always kind of felt like
you never needed them.
And I think the only weapon I used to shoot some too, but sure, I still do. I still enjoy shooting, but figured I'm going to fight here, I'll be here.
Right.
So didn't nothing in between, but yeah, it's been fun learning. Playing with them, doing with it.
Yeah, the screaming.
You see the passion in them as well.
Yeah, they enjoy it. Well, they enjoy the martial arts. They enjoy the karate part of it. Right. So,
where you are now may not be where you came from. The choices you make today may spiral out of control or spin you in the right direction. Discover a riveting, true story of how Carlos Vieira nearly destroyed his life and lived to tell about it. Stand up. Stand firm, believe, make it happen, and live through the madness. Knocking doors down along the way. And don't miss others telling their powerful stories on our podcast. Visit kddmediacompany.com.
And how is it like, with the kids now? Of course, you had a situation that hit the news. It's unfortunate. We're not going to get into that. But like with the kids and your focus upon your children, as well as the work you're doing outside of that.
We had some unfortunate stuff happen, and it's part of life. We're getting through it, and we will. I just focusing on doing everything with the kids and keeping stuff normal for them.
Sure.
What it comes down to. So, but yeah, I have great kids. I get, just went and did the parent teacher conference, and I get, you have the nicest boy. He was nice. Like she had. I don't think my daughter could have had anything better on their report card. A pluses and okay. We don't usually do outstandings on the first report card because there's nowhere to move up for the citizenship stuff.
Yeah,
but we talked and we couldn't give them anything else. And I've been at our son. I've gotten out about him all the time. We've had people come up. Hey, are you Charlie's father? I say, yeah. Man, he's the nicest kid. Like he's so nice to everyone. So I'm proud of that. They're awesome kids.
I always wonder what it felt like to get all A's on a report card. that must be pretty cool.
I was always afraid for my little boy at the beginning. Like I thought, oh man, let kids take a ball from him, we wouldn't fight over it. I'm like, man, is he scared of people? But then a couple different times with my daughter, like we had a thing with I was there. She's in kindergarten. He was coming by with us to give him all the stuff, cake, like cupcakes or whatever. And she had a balloon, and his two kids are probably head taller than him, both of them boys, were slapping her balloon. She turned around, hey, stop hitting my balloon. And they hit it. She turned around and hit it again, and he got both of them. He went, don't touch my sister's balloon. I'm like, yes! Okay.
There's the fire.
Okay. And so he did another time with her too, and someone said something to her, and he stepped up. Yeah. I'm like, all right, he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
If they want the ball, take it.
Sure.
He'll take it. But when it means something to him, he's got no problem.
Yeah. Right.
Some kids started. We were at a party. Some kids started punching him the other day, and hit him in a headlock and held him there. Sat there and waited until the guy started crying and gave up. And he's weak. Walked off. That kid was weak. Walked off.
Like, that's the biggest slap of the face on top of a headlock.
I'm like, he said, because it's like, no, he's just not even mad. Got up. The guy was punching him. He hit him in the face. I was like, what's he gonna do? What is he gonna do? And he just got him around. Kid's like,
slapped him almost, huh?
Funny.
So was it for you when you with fatherhood, did you consciously make a really concerted effort to make sure you were a good and present dad? Was it the thought like, hey, my dad, he was whatever he was, I'm still blessed with this life, but if I become a dad, I'm going to be present? Because to kind of let people in, we had a call scheduled with you, but we had to reschedule it because you were like me, you were shuffling kids off to an activity and I was getting mine off to music lessons. It's like, I know what that's like.
Definitely, but I enjoy it. If that's nothing else, plus I had a great example for a father. Like my grandpa stepped in when we were about 8. We moved in with my grandparents, and he did everything. Like he was there for everything, did everything. And I'm luckily with the way my schedule is. I do travel sometimes for work, but aside from that, I have the ability to do all that stuff, and I like going to I like taking them to school. I like going to. I like going to there, watching them do their stuff.
Yeah. And now that things are opening back up too, you're able to attend. Because I know for my nephews, there was nothing going on with the pandemic. You couldn't do shit. And now my nephew's in basketball, and I couldn't be more excited to go watch him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now that we can now, it's like, get me out of the fucking house.
It's nice to go see their events, and they appreciate it. I remember, you're looking back, my grandpa's always there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it hard for you to go to events, just being who you are? Like, do you get bombarded when you go to the kids' events?
I think a lot of times at their kids' events, and people are kind of respectful with your kid. Sure. They still get, but plus it's a lot of the same people all the time because
right.
So they know you're going to be at the next one. They're going to be so they're not if they look for the timing better.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in such a rush to get you.
And some of them already got a picture with you.
Yeah, they already got a picture.
You don't have like
and they're so it's like. they know you're going to be okay. My kid's in class. I've got 9 months to get this picture.
Right. It's not like, Susie, this is your 4th selfie this month. Can you off, please? Shit. Well, I want to get into the mind of a fighter because
I swear I was just going to say that. Go ahead.
As we were talking prior to hitting record here, I really got into UFC thanks to my best friend at the inception. And then, my favorite rivalry still to date is you and Randy, who I think is just a wonderful guy. I've got to do 2 charity events with him, but I'm really
We're rooting for you, though, just so you know.
It's okay.
I don't know. I'll have to... Wait, did we root for Chuck or Randy? I'm pretty sure it was Chuck, right?
Just for safety reasons, say Chuck.
I'm pretty sure it was Randy, but we were on Chuck's side when he was against Tito. So.
Hey,
that's
Chuck,
true.
I've always been on your side,
We were pulling against Tito for sure. So I'm sorry to put that on you, by the way.
It's okay. I'm friends with Randy, too.
Great guy.
I get it. You're friends with him. He's a good guy, and he's tough. I mean, I actually have my favorite picture I have of is right after I knocked him out, the first time I knocked him out.
Yeah.
It has a celebrity row, and it's everybody's mouth like that, except for Little Ice.
Really?
I got one fan. I got one real fan. Celebrity row.
Oh shit! So how was it for you? What did you do to really climb up to get noticed to even start participating in the UFC?
Remember, it was really different back then.
Yeah.
We talked about it all the time. I think when Lorenzo Neal used to go, why don't you fight in the UFC, man? Come on, I know you're a wrestler, you kickbox, you fight. I'm like, I don't know how you get in. Everyone talks about, I heard about tournaments, I heard about, hey, tell me how to get in, I'll try.
Yeah. Right.
So I actually didn't get in. I got in, we'll get back to, I'll start from how I got into kickboxing.
Yeah.
So I was wrestling in high school and college. I'd done karate my whole life. And actually, I used to say, what really sucks, the thing I'm the best at, I can't get paid to do. I was talking about street fighting. Mm-hmm. So, and that's back in high school. So now we're going forward to, I was going to watch my buddy fight. Alfie Alcaraz was going to do a kickboxing show on Nick Blomgren's show. Nick's One Kick Nick's from Vegas. He's used to put on shows, right? So I'm out there going to watch it. He comes over to me and he goes, "Hey, Alfie says you're pretty tough. You want to fight tomorrow night?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" And I go and they go to have me weigh in. I'm gonna fight heavyweight or whatever, and they go, "So the commission guy, so how many fights you have?" I'm like, "None. I don't know. I'm just trying." They looked at Nick like, "What are you doing?" Like the guy was like 15-0 or something. Mm-hmm. I'm like. No, this ain't gonna happen, and I was actually disappointed. So Nick goes, "Hey, well, why don't you go home and train, and I'll come back and then I'll get you on my next show and put you on." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Okay, cool." And by chance, I just ran into the week before that at John Hackleman.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
at Koei Kan Dojo in San Luis Obispo. Like he was coming in. Someone called him in. Like he was coming in to spar with them, and they called me. I wasn't even training there anymore. They called me up to come spar with them. They needed someone to spar with them, so I'd come in. I spar with. We did some point sparring, some wall training, and stuff like that. And they're like, "Yeah." Afterwards, everyone's like, "Yeah, you kicked his ass. Yeah, good job." Like, I'm like, "What fight were you watching?" I didn't feel that at all. Like, I don't know about you. I mean, I really haven't had much trouble with the guy. And so John would give me his card, and then that right after that, I drove out to Vegas, and all that stuff happened with the fight. So on my way back, I got that card, and I think it says Kickboxing World Champion. I'm like, perfect. And I'll go train with this guy. Mm-hmm, yeah. And he said, "Hey, come train." So I went up to his house. I don't know if you've ever heard the story, but I went up to his house to go train. Mm-hmm. First time I trained, he became my trainer. He's still my guy, but he was my trainer my whole career. I went up there to go spar, and it was him and his guy Jesus Sanchez was with us, and he timed it for us. We had an unofficial time for the round. We'll just do just boxing, give me boxing gloves, and I think he lent me a mouthpiece, or I brought a mouthpiece. But get in there when we start sparring. He beat the living piss out of me for 19 straight minutes.
Shit.
I'm like, holy shit. I've never done just boxing. I've never done just boxing sparring. So I've never done just hands, which really changes your distance and timing and changes a lot of things. But yeah, he beat, and if Jesus Sanchez wasn't there, I probably would have done it for a lot longer. But he's like, dude, can we just stop? I think I'm tired of seeing me get hit in the head. And then after training with John for years, I guess it was impressive that I stayed up, because every other guy, everybody I've seen come in and spar with him like that got dropped.
Yeah.
But
you're on your feet. Stayed on your feet. Yeah.
So and then we started training. So you can come back tomorrow. And actually, it was funny. So afterwards it started raining, and I'd come up on a motorcycle. So I was about to get on the bike and leave. He's like, "Hey, you come back tomorrow?" So yeah, okay. Here, just take my truck. Well, no, I'm fine. So I push the motorcycle there, take my truck. Like, you come back tomorrow, right? So yeah. So he threw me keys to a brand new truck. Drove off, and came back and trained there for. We trained there about 6 days a week for a long time.
Right.
Until we opened the gym. So then we started doing other places too. But
so when did you go through like kickboxing?
So I started doing kickboxing. I did kickboxing for about 5 years. The same thing. Like people like when I was doing that, I was still like, why aren't you fighting in the UFC? Like, I didn't know how to get in there. I don't know, how do I change? How do I get in there?
Right.
So I get a phone call from One Kick Nick, and he goes, "Hey, Alfie says you're a pretty good wrestler. You want to fight a mixed fight?" Sure, why not? So I wind up going to Orleans, to Vegas, to do an open hand strike fight. And they're supposed to have 3 fights that night on a kickboxing card. Mm-hmm. And I was supposed to fight some jiu-jitsu guy and whatever. But anyway, so the open hand, it was like open hand palms, like old pancreas. But then by the time the fight started, the commission kept getting more and more nervous. Mm-hmm. You could only do like a slap with this part of the hand, and then you couldn't hit once you hit the ground. It was just wrestling. Mm-hmm. So by that time, I already trained for a camp. We're already there. I'm like, okay,
right.
Anything else you want to change right now? Like, any other rules you want to throw out there? Go.
Yeah.
Then we went out, and I wound up just slapping the guy and knocking head. If you ever see it, he goes head kick, and he just goes. Was one of those he folds in half, straight down. Yeah, it was out. And they actually, for some reason, I think they got nervous. They wouldn't let the other the mixed martial arts fights go on. Huh. I knocked them out so bad.
Because that one was pretty gnarly.
But I'm like, but if you looked at it, there was no wrestling. Mm-hmm. There's no groundwork. There's just me kicking the guy in the head. I mean, so it really just me slapping him in the face and kicking him in the head. So how's that different than kickboxing? Yeah. Why did that scare you from the other mixed fights? I don't know. Unless you just feel those guys can't fight. I don't know.
There's a lot of screwy shit about that.
That's how I had some guy that was watching come up and go, "Hey, man, you want to fight in the UFC?" Sure, yeah, I'd love to. So they invited me to fight in UFC 17. And I fought in UFC 17.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever... Like, you sound like you love fighting, obviously, and you're fucking good at it. Have you ever say, okay, Chuck, you're fighting this person, and were you ever like not scared, but just more nervous than normal before a fight?
No. The only time I've ever done anything like that was like, it's just a business side of it. Like that guy's not worth. I mean, that's not enough to pay for the fight between me and him.
Right.
Like it's not. And actually, both times that happened, I actually wound up because the guy said I was running from him. I said I wound up go, okay, no problem, we'll fight. Mm-hmm. Winner take all. Mm-hmm. I want your show money.
Oh shit!
You put your show money up, I'll put mine up, and winner take all. I'll fight you because it was back then. It was like
sure,
2 and 2,
right?
$2,000. All right, so now it's 2 and 4.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty
now it's
badass.
0 and 6.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, if you want to call it that, let's do it that way.
It's like, I'm not running from you. I just want to get paid more. But if you really want to fight,
if you want
it all
I don't
in
care.
there.
Now I don't even care the number. But here,
all in.
As long as it's all in, I know you're getting nothing for it. When I'm done, I'm good.
And what was their response?
I'd love it.
No.
No.
It's like, so who's running now? I said let's fight, and you're saying no.
Exactly. And I answered that question real quick for him, but
So it's so interesting at the time that you really got in there. I mean, I remember like I was saying, Hoist Gracie getting in there and bringing something new, and when it was, he could wear a gi and everything, and then the transformation of rules and stuff over time. What was it like for you when you started to see, wow, this business of this mixed martial arts is growing it grew at a pretty good pace. And I mean, and you were a part of putting it on the map.
yeah, well, the funny is, like, if you go back, like I got an argument with my manager at the time because they wanted to extend my because we were coming up on close to negotiating time for my new contract for the UFC. Mm-hmm. Right before Ultimate Fighter, and when I figured out that when I knew they were going to do Ultimate Fighter, it's basically like he said, it was a way to get a live fight on TV. Mm-hmm. Their Trojan horse for it, right? And for me, I looked back at that, and I looked at it as, this is my opportunity. This is that, and me and my manager got and he didn't feel like I was supporting his, because they had said I had to extend my contract two more fights. I had 2 fights at the end of my contract to let me do the show.
Right.
That was they wanted at least that, because they didn't want me to be able to have no fights left on my contract. That makes sense. It makes sense. I'm okay, whatever. And my manager didn't feel like I was supporting him, like in the fight. Like, he didn't believe me. He quit.
Shit.
And we're still friends, but I said, if you're gonna do that, I'm gonna quit. I said, okay, well, I'm sorry. I need to be on the show.
Yeah.
It's gonna be big.
Yeah.
And I think I made the right choice.
Yeah,
I think so. Well, because a lot of people don't realize it. As far as the financial end of UFC, there was a risk at that time, prior to the Ultimate Fighter, of it heading towards going out of business. The Ultimate Fighter really played a big role in far as getting it into more markets.
I really have to believe that was probably that. I think at that point, I think there are 46 million in the hole. It's not something like that. I don't know the numbers exactly, but there are a lot of millions in the hole. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of their and they got lucky that they didn't want to pay for the show. They had to pay for the production and all that stuff, which in the end turned out great for them because now they owned it. Instead of splitting it with a network or however that works.
Right.
But yeah, I think that was their last chance, and it really was what we needed. It was not only just to get it in front of eyes that haven't seen it for free without having to buy a pay-per-view. It was also to show how much support there was for us. Mm-hmm. Because our biggest thing was, like, has always been, like, in the beginning, was getting the people that really make the decisions at sponsorships to realize what kind of support we have, and that we're not a bunch of Neanderthals, and we're not, it's like, it was always convincing the guys at the end, like at the top, like, you get the guys interested. Oh yeah, we got, the young guys that know they were into the sport, but like a lot of times the guys that were above them are like, oh no, that's no.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it definitely really changed the overall perception, and saw that it as a legit athletic competition based upon skill, not just that. Even the way it started out, it was.
If you remember, like, when I was first doing this, I mean, you get, you got so many questions about stuff that just, I mean, people still were asking out. It's like WWE, and no, it's not. Or do you have to train or anything? Or you just go fight?
I want you to think about that and then ask me again.
I gave my life to it daily.
Yeah, but it was going and educating people and trying to. We used to spend. I know that was probably the best advice I got from an interview coach. I finally got one because before the first Tito fight, they're like, you got to be better on these interviews. Mm-hmm. I'm like, thanks. Be better. Be like your coach going, be better. Can you throw better right? Can I help?
Yeah.
Give me, how?
Yeah.
So I actually got an interview coach. Mm-hmm. It was actually the manager's sister, that one that quit. Mm-hmm. His sister actually helped me out.
Oh, nice.
And one of the things she did, what came up first thing she came out, she says, I wrote 10 most common questions I was asked at that time, which is, they're like, well, you got about 3 questions here, and none of them are good. So what I do is just go, the first question they ask out the gate, just answer it yes or no, and then talk for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes about whatever you're trying to get across. Just don't stop talking. Just talk for about a minute. And if they're good at all, even though they know nothing about the sport, they haven't looked at their one sheet. They'll be able to play off that 2 minutes and make it an interview.
Right.
And the other one she told me is, you talk about it at 2, I need you at an 8. I still don't reach the 8. Sorry. I'm better than I'm not talking like this.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Well, we were talking in the car, and I was just like, oh wow, he's very soft spoken.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that. I don't know.
I've always, I think a lot of times,
Liddell.
I think part of it for a long time was just trying to. People are so, like they get like it. So if you're laid back, calm, that makes people a little more comfortable.
Sure.
I mean, it's always been nice, like as far as like going into a meeting.
Yeah.
So I go into a meeing, and I swear, like if I get people, I go to a meeting and they're expecting me to be like creative. If you're halfway nice, they're like, oh man, he was so nice.
Yeah.
Like I get people say like, hey, my friend told me you were really super nice. And what would you say? I looked at him like, I said hello. I said hi, nice to meet you.
I treat people like people.
I acted normal. Like I didn't bite their head off. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's. I always tell people like I'm the last guy you got to worry about. I mean, I'm not an aggressive person as far as stuff goes. I mean, everyone's got their line, right?
Sure, of course.
You cross my line, but as I've gotten older, when I was young, it wasn't very high.
Right.
But as I got older, it's like it's just not worth it.
Exactly.
Most of the time, if you make it worth it, I won't have a problem.
Right.
But
they will.
Yeah, we'll have a problem.
I guarantee you, we are not going to test this.
Oh no, absolutely not.
But it's funny. Like I'll meet somebody. I'm an animated guy when I talk. If we're talking about something, if you get me to talk about it, I'm usually passionate. Something I care about.
Sure.
So I'll be trying to convince you, right?
Yeah.
We're having an argument, kind of like trying to convince you that I'm right. And I see people start going. I'm like, oh, look, man, I'm trying to convince you I'm right, and I'm not trying to scare you into pretending you think I'm right.
Yeah.
It's like, if I hit you, your mom's gonna ask me why I waited so long. That's how big an asshole you are.
So, you are really just have a mild-mannered presence, and it is a surprise because we've never met. But do you feel that played well into your career? Because you've had people that have thrown the barbs at you, and it just never seemed to get to you. And I don't know if that was a good, work type of, like they were just trying to work up and promote the fight better, but because some of it felt personal at times.
There were times and stuff have been people said stuff I took personal, but I'll let you know you cross a line. I've talked to only had to talk to a couple people, but only seriously had to threaten one, and I mean, it was Tito, of course.
Yeah.
But he made some off-color comment that, and he's a moron when it comes to that one. He's like, he said on a San Diego radio station, and I got a bunch of buddies play for the Chargers, friends of mine, and they called me up. And he said, I don't date white trash bitches like Chuck. Now, long story, during his apology after I got his face about it, he said he wasn't talking about my girlfriend that I actually had. He was talking about Juliette Lewis because Us Magazine said we were dating. I'm first off, moron, she's not a white trash. She plays that on TV.
Right. That's acting. And she's on Us Weekly, so
Yeah, she's probably not. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, it was one of the things I threatened him. I said, look, man, don't ever talk about my family or friends on radio or TV. If you ever do it again, I know where you live. I'll come there and I'll beat you in your living room.
What did he say to that? Was he?
He's like, I'm sorry, man. I wasn't talking about it. I was talking about this. Because first thing I said was, this is my girlfriend. Apologize.
Right.
Secondly, don't do that. You talk shit about me. You want to? It doesn't work. Like you want to try. By the way, if you want to try to intimidate me, it's not gonna happen.
I was gonna say, I don't think you can.
Happen. It does. I mean. I actually think it's funny, both Vanderlei Silva and Tito both try to intimidate you in the stare down.
Sure.
And I got them both to go nuts after during the stare down, while we're doing it, go. And they both went nuts. They both went nuts when I did that. I just started laughing. I'm like, dude. It's like I was down I fought down in Brazil. I fought Jose Pele Jones. He came up to me with him and like three of his guys. He walked up and threw his shoulder at me and in the locker room the day before the fight. I'm like looking around. I'm like, we get paid for this in 4 hours, in 24 hours. Can we wait?
Yeah. I'll beat your ass and get paid for it first. Yeah.
We're doing it. It's bare knuckle, no holds barred. It's really like the headbutts were legal, groin strikes were legal. I mean, everything was pretty much legal. So it's just like a street fight out there. So can we wait? Because I want to get paid.
Yeah.
It was like I couldn't understand. He was speaking Brazilian. I didn't.
Right.
Brazilian Portuguese. So
he didn't even understand what you were saying. So
I was just laughing. I'm like, can we wait? I was pointing at my watch.
5150 is power. The power to overcome. The power to persevere. The power to set your life on a course for success. When you're faced with the challenges life throws at you, you focus and do what is needed to go beyond what is required. So stand up, stand firm, believe, make it happen, and live through the madness, knocking doors down along the way. We are 5150.
Do you think that your ability to understand, hey guys, it's a fucking business, because it sounds like you, other than you want to obviously go win, you train hard, you work hard, like ego's out of it. Like, I want to go in, I want to win, I want to make my money.
Fighting's and it's a game. You know, you got like it's like you got to promote. It's like the Diaz, bro. Diaz, I remember he didn't show up for some things. Oh, I don't need to be in your whatever ballerina or whatever you call it or whatever. I don't need to do that. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
No, you don't. If you're fighting a guy in the backyard to see who's better. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna do it on TV and get paid for it, yeah, you got to promote it.
Right.
I love your. Hey, if you want, just like if you get up to the press conference and go no comment, and that's what if they ask you super quiet, shut up or whatever you want to say.
Right.
That's fine. Right. That's your personality. Do your thing. Sure. I'm not telling you how to promote. Mm-hmm. But you got to show up.
You got to show up, yeah.
You're getting paid. I mean, you're getting paid to fight.
Right.
So part of getting paid to fight is you're getting paid to promote.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
So when you talk about the intimidation, like, it just a certain stare down, or are they kind of mumbling shit to you?
Well, stare down. Guys will do different things. Yeah, right. It depends on, some different guys are funny. There's guys that'll talk to you during the fight.
Right. I mean,
Frank Shamrock was talking to Tito the whole time. Some guys do that. I always thought that was funny. But yeah. I know that was never my thing, but yeah. But for me, I'm not an emotional fighter. Some guys need that. They need to be mad at you. Need to be like
sure.
Have that motivation. I was a real calculated fighter. I liked trying to figure you out and try to end things that way. But I also had that blood in the water kind of. Sure. I could see when you're hurt. If I could see it. If I get one more, if I get him halfway decent one more time, he's out. Mm-hmm. I see that in your eyes. I can see, oh shit, his eyes glossed over. Okay, gotta get to him here. Let me get him. Let me get him. Let me finish him.
How terrifying that would be.
Well, I've heard I think when we did the Zoom call, the three of us prior to the interviews, joking, I did jiu-jitsu, but I was bad at it. But my coach was really good, and he talked about when he competed that there was a point with a guy, you're not looking at, you may not be able to look him in the eyes, but where you could tell that you broke him as far as in competition, that it was almost like you could get a sense that the gas tank's starting to leak, there's blood in the water. Did you feel that when you were in the ring too?
If you could see that, sometimes you see, and actually probably the best story I have about that is actually me losing because of it. But I heard, I think it was one of the guys that cornered Randy when he fought the first fight. Mm-hmm. Said, I think it was at the end of the third round. He came to the corner with done. Like he was out, too tired, gassed. And he looked over at me, and I was just all over the place on my side. And I was just, but they said to him, look, Chuck's done, he's tired. You got this. And that was enough because I know how that works for me. Mm-hmm. If you do that for me, I can be dead tired. If I see you start going, because I used to be that guy. Like that's who I always tried to be. Is like the guy I want to be able to push you. Right. And I used to be when I was wrestling in high school. I did okay wrestling in high school, but most of it was on conditioning and being tough.
Right.
I wasn't very technical, but I'd run guys in the ground. I'll stop fighting, coach. He's tired. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
These guys go, oh, he just called me tired. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But when you get a guy and you get that, then you just forget you're tired because they're so tired because they're going out. I'm going to end this. I got him. It's over.
How do you carry a lot of the training and stuff that you did maybe over to like daily life now and a mentality, because you got two guys here that struggle with anxiety and a bunch of other things, especially me. So it's kind of one of those things I missed. The pandemic shut down when I was doing jiu-jitsu, and it's a thing that I missed that really cleared my head. So how do you
that's really something that I really didn't realize I needed all the time, and which really helped was like, because I got a cut from a piece of glass. Like I dropped this glass thing, a piece of glass about this big, shot up and hit me right here, cut both flexor tendons.
Oh shit!
Which is like, the lady said, I've had people stick their hands in a lawnmower and not catch both of them. Yeah. But it caught both of them, so I had 3 surgeries later. My hand works, right? But I couldn't hit a bag for a year, and like I couldn't wrestle for a year, and that not being able to clear my head like that. I was getting on edge. I'm just not wondering why I'm so on edge. Like I'm like, why am I was able to control, but I'm like, why am I grumpy about it? Why am I getting upset? Why is this irritating me so much?
Right.
But I need, like you said, I need that, like, and really, I like to be able to wrestle or spar like live. It's the only time my brain shuts down completely, because you kind of, and like, because all I think, all that's going on in my head is how do I beat this guy? How do I set him up? How do I get that? Like, so it is something that's it's hard when you can't have that release.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's meditative too, for people that have never done it. I know that being a slim guy, my coach would give me shit like, somebody would get on my chest and he would just be yelling in my ear, breathe. Like, focus on your breathing, and you almost get like in a meditative state that I knew that I had to oompa one way or the other to try and toss them, or you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a thing that people don't understand about.
Yeah, you start learning, and that's one thing it teaches you. Like, okay, and like as you see, like guys that are panic when the first time you get someone that like a headlock. Even like, when I remember I started wrestling as a sophomore in high school, and the guy got me in a headlock all the time, and they're like, you start to panic. You're like, it's almost like you're claustrophobic, like now, now I'm sitting there almost going out, still trying to work my way out. I mean, I'll go out before I stop trying to work my way out and get excited about going out.
Sure.
It's like, oops, struggled too long in that one. Sorry.
So what are we doing now within the MMA martial arts community and in general? You just keep being a busy guy.
Yeah, I do a lot of appearance stuff, and I had a bunch of, before COVID, I had a bunch of speaking engagements set up, trying to do like just talking about different stories and stuff, but so hopefully we'll probably get back to that a little more, but I'm still trying to do movies. I still enjoy doing the movies thing, so when those come around, I still want to do some of that, and I don't know, just raising my kids mostly though. I don't want anything takes me away from them too much. So.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I can totally understand that.
Absolutely.
Well, Mikey, we are getting a little low on our time. Before we have Chuck maybe leave us with some positive words of encouragement and inspiration, as we like to call it, a little fun random questions.
Let's do it.
I'll start off with the serious one, because you gotta.
Okay, we're gonna do a serious one. Would you rather fight 1 horse-sized chicken or 10 chicken-sized horses? I've never asked this to a fighter. So this is, I'm excited to hear it.
At all of them.
I think I'm gonna go for the horse-sized chicken.
Horse-sized chicken? It's a badass answer.
It's.
Give me the fucking gnarliest one.
Yeah, just one gnarly one. I'd have to do it.
It's like gotta dodge the big fucking beak and
I love
it.
I love it. Good for you.
So a little more about maybe some things that you're into entertainment-wise. For whatever reason, Chuck, you are stranded on a deserted island, and you have a record player that works and a DVD player that works. What's one movie and one music album you would want with you?
I don't know. It's coming out. Liar, Liar.
All right.
Jim Carrey. All right.
Yeah. Well, I probably try to think of what movie I've seen the most. I used to go to sleep to that one. It's funny all the way through. Cause it's one of those ones funny all the way through.
Yeah.
So I never had to really. If it's a movie that I really want to watch the end of,
Right.
I'll stay up for it.
Right.
Yeah,
So if one's just kind of equally funny all the way through, you're like, okay, I can fall asleep anytime and then I'll be out. I can go to sleep to that.
Right.
And what else? Oh man,
Music taste.
the music. I'd have to be some kind of mix. You're killing me because I do everything from. I used to have the commission guy, the guy that works the corner, works the locker room. He's a man. I always love when I draw you because I never know what's coming up next on your
Right.
iPod.
Yeah.
So it would be like, it'd go from country to rap, to rock to back to country. I mean, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Is there anything lately that you've been playing a little more frequently than others?
More frequently than others lately.
Even a specific song or something like that.
I'm trying to think. I listen to a lot of my old stuff, so I'm listening to a lot of my old, I don't know, country, and I'm going to listen to a little more country, kind of mellowing me out a little more.
Sure.
All right.
I don't even know who sings that. I like that song. I just was listening to that song "Breaking Me," but I don't even know who's. I don't know who does it.
Sure.
It's on there. So
You don't have to answer your Chuck Liddell. It's fine. If they were to make a movie about you, who would you cast to play you? What actor would you hire to play you?
what actor? How
Who do you think would do a good representation of Chuck Liddell?
Jesus, I don't know.
Mikey and I are already booked at that time, so you got to leave us out.
Oh, okay.
I would love to, but I got
Damn it.
I got to get my publicist on the phone. And all
Yeah,
that stuff.
Maybe the Rocks. Something like that.
Dude, you can never go wrong with him. I love the Rock.
Right.
You can never go wrong.
You know what? I bet he would be like raise that eyebrow. F it, Chuck. I'm in. Let's do it.
I'm friends with his stunt double, so at least I.
Yeah.
Isn't that his
At least I
cousin,
work for
right?
him. Yeah, Ton White.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's awesome, man. He's such a great dude. He's such a good dude. I mean, such a nice person.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Okay, I forget who we were talking to, but there was a connection to one of the Rock's other cousins, Roman Reigns, and somebody I think you knew that said, "Oh yeah," and he's like the Rock's greatest guys as Roman Reigns and stuff. And people don't realize, even though, yes, as a guy that's been a professional wrestling fan since he was like 4 or 5 years old, those are some tough sons of bitches and large human beings.
Oh yeah, look, man. I finally went to a show a while back with and it was like watching those guys, the athleticism to do some of the stuff they do off. They were doing some ladder stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's not easy to do, and man, I don't know. I don't know because you're trusting someone else not to hurt you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like trusting because guys on the road, 7 out of 10 days, the guy's tired and doing, and now I gotta trust you not to hurt me.
That's like the polar opposite of what you do.
That's some trust.
Yeah.
With those big boys, there's some trust.
Yeah.
Because
I'm letting you throw me. I'm letting you do this, and you land it wrong, and you can break my ribs.
Exactly.
Or whatever. It's like
Career-ending shit too.
yeah, because I remember Kurt Angle talking about that, when he left after winning the Olympic gold medal, going into pro wrestling, how counterintuitive it is, So it's just...
Well, the first time when I did Cradle to the Grave with Tito and Randy
right.
way back, and, just like, you kind of... It's my first time learning, like, really fighting on set, and how missing you with a big, wide-looking shot looks so much better on camera than me actually pretending to hit you.
Right.
Actually just getting as close and hitting you, but not hitting you real hard.
Sure.
Because now you're not going as fast. It's not,
Right.
It looks weird on camera. So it's like it's weird. Like I miss you by this much, and it looks better than me hitting you in the face.
Yeah.
No, it is definitely totally different. Mike, do you have any more random questions before we give Chuck the final words?
Let's do one more. If you could have dinner with anybody you wanted, living or dead, in the entire world, who would it be? Anybody in the whole world.
Living or dead dinner. My grandpa one more time.
I was gonna say that. Happy. Yeah, that's what I would think.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck, a lot of our audience, they come, either they or someone they know is struggling with mental health and or addiction. Any words of encouragement kind of through your life experience that you can just lend to people and, maybe that's helped you through your success in life?
My thing is just keep putting one foot in front of the other. I mean, it sounds, but it's just, routines help. Like, just be consistent. That's it's the hardest thing to do, and I always said mental toughness is an everyday thing. It's not a sometimes thing.
Sure.
You don't get to turn on and off. So, and if you don't practice it, it goes away.
Right.
And so like they said, I always never said I never want to teach a guy to be mentally tough because it's not my job.
Right.
But by the time you get to me, if you're not tough, I don't want to deal with you.
Sure.
For fighting, just fighting. When I got I custody of my son when he was 12. I just got back into. I'm gonna figure out. I gotta teach. I gotta figure out how to help him.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of studying on it, and they're talking about a lot of things. Even like you always hear guys make your bed. Do something, get something done in the morning. But it's like routines, like brushing your teeth, get up, do that. Doing these things no matter what. You got to. You don't feel like it, get up and do it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That kind of stuff is. Just keep moving forward. And the other thing is forgive yourself for when you mess up. The worst thing in the world, like a diet. Like I used to say, the easiest diet I ever do. Like my diet year round. If I'm doing a diet, any diet, I usually have used to do 3 cheat meals a week. So you don't have to get you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
There's nothing you can't have. I'd wind up not eating anything real bad too often.
Right.
Sure.
Every once in a while we'll take some, but and then you can eat normal. I like to just go out and eat normal at a restaurant.
Sure.
Or so I had restaurant dinners, but it's just not. If you don't, forgive yourself for mistake. I mean, don't take. Okay, I messed up. And just go down that.
Right.
Don't
I already fucked up anyways. Yeah.
There's a lot of looking for the excuses. Good. That's good you point that out because that was me when I was struggling with my drinking. It was like, oh, I had 2, I might as well have 20. And
exactly. And then that's just, hey, I messed up. I messed up that one. You messed up that one day. And now I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
I would just start over and start again. Get going. Put one foot in front of the other.
Forgive yourself. Yeah.
Forgive yourself for your mistake. You have to.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Don't keep doing them.
Yeah.
But you have to give yourself a break.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes.
Mr. Chuck Liddell, thanks, man. This has been a real honor and a pleasure.
Thank you.